About what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah,
Let's
what's
see
up,
your
buddy?
faces. I woke up, I thought it was Friday.
Did you really?
Did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's it. Let's go. Weekend.
What have you been doing this week?
You know, I've been kind of
Recovering from
foggy. I've been
Vegas.
kind of foggy from Vegas, so I didn't know what day it was.
That'll
You know what
do
I
it.
mean?
You could have
That'll
blamed
do
it
it.
on the sphere.
You know what? I'm
Should've
still
gone.
sad about the Sphere.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
just
able
talked to my buddy yesterday. I'm like, I had a great time, man. I'm like, but I wish I wouldn't have saw that U2 concert in the Sphere. I
Gotta
blew
go
it.
back.
No, I don't. I'm never going back. I'm never going back. Fishing in Mexico, that's
Yeah.
my next trip for me. You know what I
Got
mean?
it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some show. Got to make some money so I could pay for those vacations. The numbers are in, and the Golden Bachelor has struck gold, ratings gold. The show brought in nearly 8 million total viewers and was Hulu's best ever ABC series debut, and it's just getting started. In a preview of the season ahead, there were tears, and more tears, Erica, from Gary and the ladies.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cover band.
Tears, and more.
Gary and the ladies.
Gary and the ladies. I told y'all there is a hit. We have a hit on our hands.
Called
You
it.
did say that.
Yes. I mean, what? It's
Why do you
such-
think that is?
Well, I think that there's a lot of reasons, but let's start with what makes the most sense. You're talking about a demographic to which is being reflected for the first time in the history of ever. And this is a demographic who have their particular network and they like their particular thing and they're staying tuned because this is actually programmed as opposed to turning off the television. This is programming that they're tuning or keeping it tuned in for. Think about Dancing with the Stars. Historically, a lot of people who are very successful with Dancing with the Stars are people who they get from the same network.
Yeah.
Because there's familiarity, because people who are locked into broadcast television with those networks have their people. Like, think about how, grandmas and big mamas like Bob Barker, that was her guy.
Yes.
You know, like there are certain people. Also, this is the first time that a lot of people are being represented in this way. I think it's very inspirational in terms of like love has no age. I just think they have a major hit on their hands. I am fully invested.
Yeah. I think Erica hit it on the head when she was talking about people, because I think that for a long time this demographic that you're speaking of, an older demographic, has been given shows to watch here. Watch NCIS, watch Criminal Minds, whatever, and they're watching these people, but they've never been able to watch themselves. And I think what they're watching on the show is how they've been feeling inside, and it makes them feel okay, because I know you, Sam, and you, Cobb, and you, Shorter, if you, God forbid, lost your partner, there would be some guilt in even having the feeling of possibly wanting to fall in love again. So seeing that reflected on TV, like it's okay to still feel alive and want to hand love to somebody or have love with somebody, I think makes people feel okay, and it makes them feel seen.
And hopeful.
That's right.
I love that.
You know what I do want to mention real fast, because I think you guys hit the nail on the head? The tears, and more tears. This isn't a 22-year-old getting voted off.
Yeah.
When you got guys lined up the studio waiting to grab you, you know what I mean?
Right.
In a good way.
Yes, of course.
But when you say goodbye to one of these ladies, in their head they might be like, this is my last chance. Or does it re-energize them to say, hey, you know what? I'm glad this show showed me that there's more out there and I could go find a mate.
I think both are true.
Yes.
Check them DMs.
Yeah, I think both are true. Check them DMs, but at the same time, I can only imagine that the stakes are higher because you feel like you have less time.
But here's the thing, because I thought maybe, especially last week, I literally shed tears over this. I was so emotional, like in a good way. And I was like, maybe I can't handle this, because I thought the same thing. People might feel like this was their last chance. But I think that this is just the beginning, because this is the first time for a lot of these people that they're putting themselves out there in this way.
Yeah.
And once you open yourself up in that way, now you've opened yourself up to the world.
To 8 million people.
Exactly. So the idea that like this is going to be the last chance for any of the people involved in it, I think might be a fallacy, because I think people are going to be very pleasantly surprised of who true connections they've made with, maybe through the television.
I love
Also,
it.
I do have a little hot goss before we move on.
What?
Hot goss.
I got some hot goss.
Talk.
Yes.
The reason that The Bachelor with this episode was only an hour, where they're usually 2, is because they cut out a lot of the drama and just focused on the relationship. They didn't do the caddy. They're not focusing in on the caddy.
Good for them.
Boo.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Yes.
Is
How did
that
you know?
true, or is that just
That's
your,
hot goss.
Who told you that?
That's your hot take.
That's my hot goss. That
No.
turned into my take.
No. If it's your
I just want to use the
opinion,
phrase hot goss,
Okay,
Erica.
but
Let
who
me
told
use
It's
it.
not hot goss.
Yeah.
It's hot take. It's
That's your
take that other people might have disagree with.
Unless-
All of my
Disagree with.
takes are hot, so you just say my take.
Unless somebody from The Bachelor sent you like a DM and told you this. Is
That's
that the
hot
hot
goss.
goss?
Brian Bachelor texted me.
Yeah,
they
no,
didn't.
you
He
have
did.
no hot
Move
goss.
on.
You have no goss.
Okay.
No goss
I'll
here.
show you his number.
I'm with you, Al. All right, moving on. David Beckham had the support of his entire family at the London premiere of his new Netflix docuseries about his life. David was joined by wife Victoria, all for their kids and their families as well. The 4-part docuseries called Beckham Gets Gritty. Victoria opens up for the first time about David's alleged affairs with 2 different women in Spain back in 2003. She said it nearly broke up their marriage. Of course it did. Let's watch.
It felt like the world was against us. And here's the thing, we were against each other, if I'm being completely honest. You know, up until Madrid, sometimes it felt like us against everybody else. But we were together, we were connected, we had each other. But when we were in Spain, it didn't really feel like we had each other either.
Now that's hot goss right there. David also gets candid about his battle with OCD. He shows off his closet, admits everything has to be in a straight line or in pairs. He also said he cleans out the candles every day and gets upset when Victoria leaves the salt out.
I can relate to the latter part of it.
Me
because
too.
I like, and Chris Clark, our executive producer, knows this too, because he's like me. I have to have like the rug fringe out. If one fringe is tucked in, I'll be like, Mark, can you untuck the fringe?
Why would Chris know that?
Because Chris also needs to untuck the fringe. And when he came
Chris, our
over to my
executive
house,
producer.
Chris, our executive producer, also noticed the fringe was untucked. But I also, let's put that aside and then please chime in. But I do want to make it really crystal clear here that Victoria Beckham and David Beckham never admitted to any sort of cheating. Okay, so they're talking about allegations pitted them against one another. David has never said he cheated on Victoria. That's not what was said here. They're saying those rumors were so vicious, it pitted them against one
wow.
another.
To me, it seemed like he did, because I didn't know that.
They've never admitted it. He's never
okay,
said
good
that
to know.
happened. They're just allegations, and those allegations were harmful enough where it caused a lot of conflict within their marriage.
I'll say this, and I want to throw this at you guys. I listened to a podcaster, relationship sex therapist, and he said something really interesting. I've thought about it, and I wanted to ask you guys, so you're all married. He said, if you are with your partner from now until death, so not 50, 60 years, if you only have 1 or 2 moments of infidelity, you were pretty good at monogamy, and it shouldn't be an extinction level event unless one of you guys decides it should. Do you guys think that is there any space?
All right, you're trying to get down a very slippery slope. So let me just say
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think it's as easy.
Well, you don't think so because you're not married right now.
Right.
I think so because I think that words have power.
Yes.
And so to even engage, I don't engage in those conversations because I feel like that's speaking something detrimental into my life and relationship with my partner, which is one of the most serious things that I protect every single day.
But you said you talk about prenup.
Well, yeah, I have talked about a prenup, but I talk about a prenup because I feel like finances, in terms of my history, are something that are very personal until you combine. So, yes, we did talk prenup, but when we get together, that looks very different than what it was when we weren't married. When we're married, we're talking about our lives and manifesting things that are important to us and tenets of our relationship. So that's why I don't engage in those conversations, because I don't want to think about it in terms of what could be. I want to think only positively about what could be. And if things that aren't positive show up, then I can navigate from there.
But shouldn't you be prepared before you get there?
Why would I prepare for my husband cheating on me?
Wouldn't a ship prepare for an iceberg? You should
Why would I
prepare for
prepare
anything.
for that? I prepare for our next dream home. I prepare for the expansion of our family. I prepare for having our greater lives grow. I do not prepare for my husband to step out on my relationship. That is not something I am anticipating. It's not something I wish for. And if I'm going to prepare for something, it's going to be positive.
Wow, you better prepare for Erica to be all over Al at the commercial break.
Can I just say
No earthquake, kid.
that was a TED Talk. That was a TED Talk.
To not
wasn't a
prepare
TED Talk.
for possible hiccups.
That was go to your room.
Yeah.
Go to your room
No.
now. You're not on the next segment.
I'm
kidding. I'm
okay.
kidding. I love you, buddy. We're going to talk about it in the break. Check us out on YouTube. Coming up on
We're only
DBL,
preparing for positive things in the next
Tupac's
block.
murder trial begins. Why did it take nearly 30 years for this? And spoiler alert, Jamie Lynn Spears got eliminated from Dancing with the Stars. Was the Britney army behind her getting voted off? We're going to talk about it.
For a lot of people, you're right.
I align with Erica. I want to manifest good stuff. I couldn't have said it as eloquently as Erica did, but everything she said is exactly how I want to live my life with my husband.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But she said it much better. So
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's
the
definitely
Erica
not.
Club TED Talk.
Prepare. I'm like, if you get down the slippery slope of preparing for every negative thing that could happen, you will be miserable for the rest of your life.
Welcoming it, because I feel like when you prepare for certain things that are attached to such paranoia and negativity, it'll make you more paranoid, in my opinion.
Relationships end at most marriages end at a 51% clip.
Yeah,
so
because
it's more
of
likely.
finances. The majority of it is because of finances.
I think there'd be some websites with some numbers that would shock you.
But I'm just saying, there's one thing to be prepared in terms of I'll say I'm an urban survivalist. There's always going to be copious amounts of canned goods and water and stuff in my house. But you know what? During COVID, I was very appreciative of that preparation. Those are things that can actually help in the moment. There's no way to prepare for someone participating in infidelity because you don't know the nature of that infidelity. You don't know if it's emotional. You don't know if it's physical. You don't know if it's something that was one night or long term. You don't know if it's something that's habitual or something that was single. You don't know those things. So there's no way to prepare for it.
I think you could prepare yourself.
How?
But then you're accepting it in a weird way, in my opinion.
I think when you get with a human being, you're accepting that this person might become a drug addict. 50 years is a long time. How many people were married for 20 years and all of a sudden their partner is in QAnon?
And I get that, but what I guess the point is that you can't say
He's a good debater. He's a great debater.
Welcome back to DBL.
We're still debating.
Yeah, they are.
No, but it was a pretty nice debate. They hugged it out in the
I love
break.
talking to my girl. I want to see how
hugged
she
it out.
thinks.
All right, let's move on. It's the end of the road for Jamie Lynn Spears on Dancing with the Stars. Jamie scored a 16 out of 30 for her cha-cha on Latin night, but it wasn't the lowest score of the evening, which is why her elimination shocked some fans. But the judges' scores are added to the votes from the fans, and some people online suggested that people didn't vote for Jamie because of her ongoing feud with her sister Britney, the Britney Mafia. Are they overlapping with Dancing with the Stars?
I don't know if that's their demo.
I don't know if it is either.
But she also wasn't that great of a dancer. I'll keep it 100.
Which
She
might just be the reason why she's eliminated.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't deserve to be there because she doesn't
But
dance
it seems like
very
the
well.
fan vote was what decided between her
Right.
and Adrian Peterson.
Right.
So, Erica, what do you think? Because it seemed like Britney gave her blessing. I thought I read a couple articles that said that.
I don't know anything
That she
about
said she
that.
supported her?
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I do know
Please
how
check
votes
TMZ.
work. And it's not voting to say who should be voted off. It's voting to support, so the people with the most votes get to stay. So maybe she just doesn't have a demographic that
she does.
is a Dancing with the Stars demographic that was actually calling, however they vote now.
I would agree with that, but I would wonder if Adrian Peterson has a Dancing with the Stars demographic.
But he's a better dancer, though.
But
Well, he
Adrian-
was in the bottom two.
But he's still a better dancer.
Maybe not on that particular dance. I mean, that was not the dance she should have chosen.
She should have brought out 2 knives and danced
Oh
with
my
them.
gosh. People will
What? That
remember
would have. I mean, that would have
Adrian
got her
Peterson.
votes.
Honestly.
Maybe she had that one in her pocket for later on. But if you break out the 2 knives and just go bananas, I think you get some votes.
That's not great. That's Carnival Cruise right there. That's not the move. That was not the dance she should have done.
So you think it's just strictly based off talent? That's why she's voted off.
I think the
she has
Britney
a big
people.
fan base.
But that's what we're saying. Yeah.
She doesn't. What's her fan base other than Britney Spears? And I'm not trying to throw shade at all, but I know she
name
was on
one of her songs.
I don't, and I know she was on a Nickelodeon show ages ago. But at the end of the day, most people know Jamie Lynn because of her older sister.
Right.
They're not invested in her.
Right.
Maybe they're invested in Adrian because they believe he'll have a comeback, or they loved him as a football player. I don't know, but for Jamie Lynn, there's not much investment.
She
in
wouldn't
her.
be on the show if there was an investment. They
I
must
think
have run
she was
the
in
numbers.
the show because of the controversy
Yes,
that's
because
happening
of her
right now, and her sister's book is about to be released. So I think that's why they picked her.
Her last name is Spears.
Right. So I'm saying I would think that cachet would either put her over the top or take
Not
her
with,
down.
I don't think with this demo.
Yeah.
With this demo, they'll remember Adrian Peterson, how many whatever points, yards, whatever he has going on.
Right. Sounds like
but
you
they're-
remembered.
Yeah, I don't.
Big fan.
I don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah, but Jamie Lynn Spears, I don't think it's the same.
Well, let's end on a good note. My man Jason Mraz, still looking strong.
What is he at
Still
now?
looking strong.
Like 1-2?
Still looking strong. Coming up on DBL, the Tupac murder trial is finally getting started decades after he was murdered. We're going to talk all about it next.
We can't play you the sound of an emergency alert here on TV during a non-emergency. That's actually a violation of broadcast law. But if you've ever been alarmed by your phone's warning of severe weather or a missing person, you know the alert we're talking about. And viral videos claim no matter where you are in the U.S., it'll be sounding off on everyone's phone on October 4th at 2:20 in the afternoon.
It is going to happen to every single phone that is powered on.
So will there be an emergency test alert tomorrow? We checked in with several sources here to verify yes, and it's not intended to be a surprise. FEMA and the FCC announced the plan in August to sound the alarms nationwide on October 4th, 2023 at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. FEMA says this test will ensure, quote, the systems continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. That would include national security events like a terror attack, missile threat, or other major public safety issue. The FCC explains the wireless emergency alert system will push out warnings to cell phones over a 30-minute period during that test. They'll look like a text message and identify themselves as a test. To get the alert, phones will need to be turned on, have service, and be compatible with the alert system, which covers most modern cell phones. You have to be connected to a cell phone network, so just remember to switch your phone to Wi-Fi only or airplane mode if it's a bad time to receive the alert. FEMA says the emergency alert system on TV and radio will also be tested, interrupting regular programming for a minute. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back to DBL. So after 27 years, the man who police say orchestrated the murder of rap legend Tupac Shakur is set to make his first court appearance today. 60-year-old Dwayne Davis was arrested and indicted on Friday for the murder in the famous cold case. Dwayne said he was inside the car that opened fire on Tupac back in 1996, and it was his own words that led police to the arrest. Now, I'm invested in this whole, I think a lot of people are. Every time something's on, I'm all over it. But Al, you're deep down that rabbit hole on this case.
Well, I mean, it's not hard to be, strangely, because obviously of Tupac's cachet.
Yeah.
I argue he's still an A-list celebrity, but also that Dwayne Davis, which goes by Keefy D, if you're ever looking for his interviews, I was showing our executive producer, there's a 2-hour and 45-minute interview he gave 4 years ago. He's written a book, and that's not the only interview he's given about this, with details, Erica, not even details that take him out of it, details that put him in it. What happened, the schematics of how, you know, they pulled, how they ran into Tupac, saying they went to look for him at the club. His face is on the flyer. We're performing at this nightclub in Vegas. They went there to go find him because they not allegedly, it was on camera, Keefy D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, was beaten up and jumped in a Vegas casino after a major prize fight. So they were going to get retribution. They could not find Tupac at said club. They went to the liquor store to get some booze, and on their way back to their hotel, they ran into Tupac, who was on the street in the passenger side with the window rolled down. By sheer terrible luck, talking to women that were on the sidewalk, encouraging them to come to the club they were performing at. They saw Tupac and they took their opportunity and they took that young man's life. And unfortunately, I gave that long recap, but I don't want to get lost in all the fray. What a cultural icon he was, how Tupac's verses are in people's hearts and their heads. It's tattooed on people's bodies. He spoke for that generation of young black men. His mother, obviously a famous civil rights activist, and where he came from, he spoke to a lot of people about the demons that are inside, but all the good things that are inside too, and the mix of emotions that is walking around a lot of people, not just inside a black man. So I hope if for no other reason, just go back and revisit his music, because I guarantee you there's some songs that speak to you.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned his mother. Like one of the craziest interviews of my life was Biggie and Tupac's mother when they they went on a tour together, and I remember asking if they believed that the murders would be solved, and they both, like, in certain ways, I don't want to speak out of turn, but in certain ways, left me with the impression that not only did everybody know, but they did believe that that would happen. I feel like this, with all due respect, is kind of anticlimactic in terms of the feelings that I thought that I would have knowing that the murderer or people involved in Tupac's death were found, the way that I felt when we learned that Tupac was killed. And it makes me feel like this dude has been talking for so long, has been giving so many details. What's that song? Like, man, you talk too much. You never shut up. Like, it's a very, like, that's a thing that's playing in my head. So for somebody who was talking too much, never shut up, why now? Why now? Like, it makes me feel like everyone's like, look over here because something's happening over here. Like, maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but like, that's just how I feel about it.
No, I'm with you. But was that Run DMC, by the way? Was that
I was thinking about
that.
that.
Too much, you never shut up?
Might have been.
I think it was Run DMC because, well, I'm just referencing that back to rap music because that was the era I grew up, we all kind of grew up in, and that connects us all. As much as you think like it doesn't and people can't relate, it totally does. And I've said on this show, I think if Tupac was still alive, he would be running for president.
Oh my gosh.
I really believe that. I think he would be president.
He would 1,000%. He was already following the path of his mother.
Yeah, and we have to remember.
Read A Rose from Concrete, his poetry.
He was 24, 25 when he died.
Brilliant.
I really do think so.
Yes.
Yeah, he went to Juilliard, I believe.
Yeah, people laugh at me when I say that, but I really, really do think that.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll be right back.
After the vote to oust House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the House of Representatives must now decide who will fill his role. The person who receives more than 50% of the votes is elected, but some online are wondering whether that person also has to be from the party who holds the majority of the House. So, Let's verify. Does the Speaker of the House have to be from the party that holds the majority? These are our sources. The U.S. Constitution says the House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers, and that's all it says. It makes no mention of the Speaker having to be from the majority party of the House, although they historically have been. So, no, the Speaker of the House does not have to be from the majority party. In fact, the Speaker doesn't even have to be a member of the House. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and even Colin Powell have received votes for the position in the past. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Though the events that unfolded Tuesday evening are unprecedented, the House exists on a set of rules and governing procedures and on the authority of the U.S. Constitution. So we turned there and to several other sources to verify the fast facts on a process that could be anything but. No, there's no automatic replacement for the Speaker. The U.S. Constitution outlines, quote, the House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers, and leaves it at that. So for now, North Carolina Representative Patrick McHenry is the acting Speaker, handpicked for the job by McCarthy himself as per House rules. And his main function in that role is to lead the House toward voting for a permanent pick for the job. No, you don't have to be a member of the majority party or even of the House of Representatives to be named Speaker of the House, but that's usually how it works. This guide on House procedures says while the Speaker doesn't have to be chosen from the current membership, quote, the practice has been followed invariably. No, a candidate doesn't need a majority of House members to select them for the role, just a majority of those voting. So while a majority would require 218 of the 435 members to select a candidate, the Congressional Research Service explains that threshold is lowered if not everyone votes. You may remember from the beginning of McCarthy's tenure earlier this year, ballots will keep coming until a majority consensus is reached among those voting. And no, the House really can't do its job as usual without a Speaker. That means a delay on legislative duties, like passing spending bills that could avoid a government shutdown. Remember, the government is only open now because of a short-term spending bill keeping things going through November 17th. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. Car theft has skyrocketed this year. To make sure you don't fall victim to this, follow these car safety tips. That's today's Auto Alert, sponsored by Ox Car Care. First up, don't leave a spare key in or near your car. Some people keep one under the car or in the glove box, but thieves know where to check. Next, when you can avoid parking in poorly lit areas, do so. Lastly, consider installing a system that tracks your car's location. You could even hide a Bluetooth device like an Apple AirTag in the car to track it from your phone. Ox Car Care is dedicated to providing you with an amazing auto protection plan experience that works with your budget. If you're looking for better car care, give them a call today at 800-946-5040. An interesting fact that we were just talking about, you dropped the Run DMC line, and then I said it was Run DMC. And who sang that originally? That's a song from like the 60s. Yeah. What's it called? Joe Jones, I think. Joe Jones from the 60s sang that? We got some trivia facts floating around this office. I like it. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.